So far I've covered 7 OCD beating tips that really helped me recover from OCD and a bunch of related anxiety disorders. But thanks to your questions, which I really appreciate, so please feel free to keep on sending them. Your questions have helped me understand something that really underpinned my success with those different tips. And that is going to become the 8th tip. So the 8th OCD beating tip is to be unreasonable and irrational. That's right, I want you to be completely unreasonable. This may sound a little strange, but that's because in popular culture, mental illnesses are often presented as being irrational, unreasonable. We say they're crazy, delusional, unreal, etc. But that's not uniformly true. And the case is, that's a big barrier for a lot of people struggling with anxiety disorders because anxiety disorders are all about reasons and thinking and being rational. You're a very reasonable, rational person. You probably think you're a great thinker. Me too. That's part of the problem. Thinking is what got us into this mess. Thinking will not get you out of this mess. And that's why it's so important to learn to be unreasonable. When you're struggling with OCD, your brain can always think of a reason. Your brain can always think of a reason to do something unhealthy. You can always think of a reason why, today is not the right time to start therapy. You've got to get things in order first. Or, it's okay to go and seek some reassurance because actually, that thought you just had, it felt real. It felt like maybe it was true and maybe you actually did do something terrible and you have to go and check. Or your brain will decide that, today, you had a hard day and people who have hard days, they deserve to engage in compulsions so that they can relax because you think that your compulsions help you relax. Yeah, you have reasons. You know what? They're totally rational reasons. When we're recovering from OCD, even after we learn to accept thoughts, we learn that we have to expose ourselves to our fears and not react to the anxiety, that we have to act according to our values. We learn to accept uncertain. We learn not to check. We learn not to seek reassurance. We learn that doing any of those things would only make our OCD worse, that we'd only be choosing to throw ourselves further down that hole, and yet we can always think of a reason. You don't always say, okay, I know that I'm supposed to accept the uncertainty. I know I'm supposed to expose myself to that fear and act according to my values, but I have this really good reason why this is different. Or I have this really good reason why I think my symptoms are different from everybody else's symptoms. I'm different. This seems real. You will always be able to think of a reason. So I'd really encourage you. You're going to help yourself tremendously on the road to recovery. As you're beginning to bring healthy actions into your life, ignore the reasons your brain throws at you. Commit unreasonably to those healthy actions. You will always be able to think of a reason why you shouldn't get out of bed in the morning, why you shouldn't go to school, why you shouldn't go to work. You'll always be able to think of a reason to avoid talking to somebody. You'll always be able to think of a reason why you need this compulsion, at least just today. You'll always be able to think of a reason why tomorrow you're going to start doing healthy things. Today's your last day. You'll always be able to think of a reason to keep your compulsions and your addictions in your life, and you'll always be able to think of a reason why you believe being judgmental and making assumptions and then reacting to those assumptions, even though it's tearing your life apart and making you miserable, why you need to keep those. You'll always be able to think of a reason. Just recognize that those reasons, they are part of the illness. So in pursuing recovery and implementing all the other tips that we've talked about so far, be unreasonable. Be unreasonable and give uncertainty a big hug. Be unreasonable and face your fears and throw yourself into them when your brain is hiding under the bed. Be unreasonable and drag your brain kicking and screaming to the gym. And be unreasonable and eat what your brain needs to eat, not what it wants to eat. Be unreasonably true when your brain spreads rumors about what other people are thinking. Be unreasonably you when you look in the mirror and your brain sees somebody else. Be unreasonably brave and do the things you know you want to do that reflect who you are, not the scared, afraid person that your brain thinks you are. Be unreasonably healthy. And if people say that's crazy, that's okay because you are getting crazy healthy. So be incredibly, incredibly unreasonable.